In this two-part video we'll visit one of the most beautiful and epic islands in the Faroes, the very much overlooked southern island Suduroy. Suduroy is the southernmost island of the Faroes and also one which many tourists skip. That all has to do with where it is located. If you want a car down there, you will have to take the 2-hour ferry ride from Tórshavn. You pay for the ride on board the ferry on your way back from Suduroy. Even though you might consider yourself strong at sea, this ride can make even the strongest of us feel sick. Some rides are absolutely horrible. Other rides are calm and beautiful, while others again can be a combination. You can go to Suduroy and back in one day, but that does not come recommended as you will only have one shot at a golden hour. The ferry does not arrive until after sunrise, even during winter solstice where the sun rises 9:45 am. Even though Suduroy is a sunset location, as most of the most interesting photography viewpoints are located on the western side of the island, it can also work fantastic for sunrises. All through the year, the absolutely epic western side of the island with vertical cliffs rising hundreds of meters out of the sea and tall sea stacks are lit by the setting sun. That is of course if the clouds allow for it. For that reason I would suggest to arrive during the day, shoot one sunset, spend a night on Suduroy, go for a sunrise shoot and a sunset shoot, and then take the late ferry back to the mainland. Be aware though that this plan can only work during certain days during the winter half of the year, as the ferry schedule differs from day to day. This is also only the shortest visit. I would recommend spending more than one night down there. During 2018 I visited Suduroy both in September and in December. On the September tour it was with my photography buddies Kai, Mikkel and Roy, and in December it was with my friend Thomas Vigre, who I presented in the Sandoy video. In these videos I will present some of my favorite locations on Suduroy, but they are by no means all of what Suduroy has to offer. We will start in the south and move towards north. The first location on the list is Akraberg Lighthouse. Next to the small parking lot there's a podium from where you can photograph the area. You can also walk down past the yellow and red house to the lighthouse. So right now I've arrived down to the southernmost part of Suduroy, and well, the sky kind of emptied out, so there's not really much to photograph down here. So I'll take a few snaps of the lighthouse, and then we have this nice yellow house here in the background. Let's see, there it is, which is really good from the front. So, but right now there's sadly a shadow covering it, so it's not really that good. So I actually managed to find quite an interesting composition. I'm a little bit conflicted. I don't know right now if it will actually work out, but as you can see I have these shadows along this fence leading up to the lighthouse, like repetitional patterns, and they lead into the fence and then up to the lighthouse. But I do have the sun also, and I'm pretty sure that that will take up too much attention in the photo, but I'm not quite sure right now before I've actually edited it, so you'll be the judge of that. But the composition looks interesting from where I'm standing right now. Back in September I managed to get a version of the yellow house, which turned out to be a beautiful, moody, minimalistic photo that I'm quite happy about. Akraberg Lighthouse is a beautiful location, but probably also the least interesting location I will present from Suduroy. Beinisvørð offers, in my opinion, one of the most incredible and epic views in the entire Faroe Islands, which make it an absolute must-see if you're visiting Suduroy. It is, however, not the easiest location to photograph. It's easy to find, as you just have to follow the old road between Sumpa and Lopra. It goes without saying that you have to drive carefully, both because of the sheep and the steep edges next to the road. Just park at the antenna station and follow the paths next to the sign. There are a few viewpoints and foregrounds to incorporate in your scene. This is also an obvious sunset location, as the setting sun all through the year will light the entire coastline. Sadly, when I was there back in September, we didn't have enough time to visit this location during the golden hour, hence you need more than 2 nights in Suduroy. We did, however, get some beautiful low-hanging clouds and some very atmospheric conditions. Having Roy posing in the background, I found some grass that worked great as a foreground. I lined it up with the cliff and got one of my favorite and most original photos from Suduroy. All along the coastline there are plenty of viewpoints and compositions. It is just a question about exploring. Above the town Vágur, at a mountain called Eggjarnar, also known as Skúvanes, there's an absolutely incredible view towards south and Beinisvørð. Towards north you can see the town Vágur and more epic coastline. You park next to the cliff's edge, and like any other location in the Faroes, don't push your luck. If you slip and fall down, you die. The hardest decision to make here is whether or not to include some foreground. The epic view delivers itself to a very photogenic location with lots of depth, leading the eye into the background, making Beinisvørð work as the focal point. As mentioned, Suduroy works primarily as a great sunset location. However, this morning we got some beautiful colors in the sky during sunrise that worked perfectly for this location. Walking towards north, there's a small pool that can deliver some beautiful reflections. Following the coastline further down, you can also get an epic view over Vágur. The morning we visited this location, we had some amazing gusts that pushed the small waterfall back up the cliffs, and the sun kept shining through the clouds, lighting up all the moist in the air. Suduroy is just an awe-inspiring island. In the next episode we'll continue towards north. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, I would highly appreciate both a like and a comment.